memes today. What microphone are you? Yeah, that's right. The one you should be. Well, now, I'll wait a minute and see if this actually goes. You're killing it. I'll watch and see if this actually goes live. Oh, it's live. Good. We got one. All right. Let's get the embed going. Whoever is the first one in, thanks for joining us. Now I know the show is working, so I can post everything else. This show wouldn't have happened without you. All right.
Excuse me, what's happening back here?
Yes, yes. Yes. We will be starting momentarily. I promise.
Yes.
Oh, shut up, you.
Who's that?
That's me.
No.
Who, me? Okay. All I gotta do is a tweet. What's the Pokemon there, Chief?
Lampert. Or Lampent. Lampent. Excuse me. When I was outside before hanging stuff on the clothesline, I belched. Good belch. And a piece of carrot came up.
Cool.
Hate when that happens.
Who doesn't?
That's
All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was like. There's something else that's usually here. Oh, there it is. All right, Mom Brain, I'm sorry. Can you tell me it again?
Lampent.
Lampent. Lampent sinners. All right, Lampent. Let's do it.
What's that?
That has one.
3, 2, 1. Go Nintendo Podcast. Webisode 608. The Lampent Podcast.
Lampent. Lampent is a clear. Lampent has a clear spherical head containing a bluish purple flame and oval yellow eyes.
Mom Brain, tell us about Lampent, please.
Lampent has a clear spherical head containing a bluish purple flame and oval yellow eyes. On top of its head is a black covering which resembles a lampshade with a pointed spike on top.
So, in other words, he's the life of the party.
Yeah. Underneath its head is a small black body with a pointed spike at the bottom. Extending from its body are 2 long wavy arms.
Are you trying to tell me you've never been to a party where you wore a lampshade on your head?
My father's famous for doing that.
I said you.
I have.
See, there we go. You acted like it was such a foreign concept.
Why is that a thing? Was that in a movie?
I'm sure it was in a movie, but why isn't it a thing in regular life? Like, why can you only wear lampshades at a party? Why can't you wear one now?
Well, you can. I have plenty if you'd like to choose from.
Probably make it hard to see.
That is a good point, but there was that guy on Fat Albert
Yeah.
that wore that hat all the time, but he
Well,
just
yeah,
cut
but he
out
had
eye
eye
holes.
holes.
Yeah, so cut out eye holes in the lampshade.
Okay.
You're the one that wanted to wear it.
Lampent floats through the air to move. Lampent can sense when someone is about to die. Whom it visits
kind of like cats in old folks'
and
homes.
steals the spirit from the person's body. Though most often found in deep forests, it wanders through cities and hangs around near hospitals to absorb the spirits of the fallen.
Tell me
This
about
is
it.
terrible. It uses the spirits it has absorbed to fuel its fire. On occasion, it's been known to work with Litwick to lead people to the ghost world while stealing life energy. This guy is something else, man.
Well, I was saying I like the look of Litwick, but now they're all terrifying, basically.
Yeah.
Lots of Pokemon have terrible dark backstories.
Lampent is number 608. He's a ghost fire type. His abilities include Flash Fire or Flame Body. His hidden ability is Infiltrator. 50 to 50 male-female ratio.
Does this one fly follow us everywhere?
They're just under 30 pounds, and they're 2 feet tall, and you can't teach that.
Thanks, Mom Brain.
My pleasure.
Manticorus says people would mistake lampshades for hat
There
racks.
he is.
There he is. When drunk. sign of inebriation and weirdness, and monkey see, monkey do. Is that true?
What?
Is that just a made-up story, or did they look that up right now?
That sounds made up to me.
You probably weren't even listening, were you?
Hat rack?
Yes, a hat rack. You said it like you'd never heard that word before. Hat rack? Hat rack? Hello. Let's do this right. Hello, SD Sick Hero and Mapu 2 and Roth Sathi and Zero Skill 3D and Rocket and Low Camp and Giant Reggie and Huskies and Drew and Pablo and the Alo Wolf and Manticorus and Blunners and whoever else I didn't see. Eddie, thanks for joining us. I wonder if it's Eddie from, Family Matters. Cousin Eddie, yes, Cousin Eddie. That's who I want. No, I was thinking of the one that
Winslow?
is still.
Wait, he wasn't a cousin.
No, she was saying Cousin Eddie from National Lampoon.
Oh. Okay.
And I was going to go with Eddie from Family Matters because I imagine he's still normal today because we don't hear about him, and we hear about what's his face because he's lost his mind.
Who?
Sadly, Eddie, Cousin Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
Randy Quaid. Yeah.
Yes, Randy Quaid. That's it. Quaid. Hello, David. How's everybody feeling?
Okay.
Pretty good.
I am like completely out of it. I'm out of it. I stayed up. Well, I'm always up late, but after you guys left last night, I played some more Blaster Master. But then I was like, I had been watching 13 Reasons Why on Netflix, and I was like, I'm gonna finish it up because I had a nice big chunk of time, and I was like, I could play a game or I could finish that series. So I watched that. Man, that's a series, man. Holy crap.
That's a show.
That is a show. It's
a show that you watch.
It's rough, man. It's really rough. It
In like a bad way?
Oh no. I'll get to it in a second. PC podcast PC texted me and said 90. She's watching the show right now. She said 99% sure Eddie from Family Matters got accused of beating his wife and threatening her and their baby recently. Well, long story short, everybody in Hollywood is a jerk. But anyway, thanks for that, PC. So it's a very, I found it to be a very good show, but it is rough.
Hard to watch.
Yeah, certain episodes are very rough. It's do you know anything about it?
I know it's about high school kids.
Yeah, this isn't a spoiler. The show starts off
one
with
of them gets murdered.
One of them commits suicide. That's how the show starts, and that's how the book starts. And she records a set amount of tapes, like tapes, old school tapes. Although this happened,
cassette.
It was supposed to be contemporary. Yes, cassette tapes. She records them, and she records a tape for each person in her life that impacted her to the point where she felt she could only commit suicide. And everybody, when you listen to all the tapes, and then you're supposed to pass them on to the next person that is predetermined by what she said. So you follow this one guy, Clay, and you follow him as he listens to the tapes. Oh, it's rough, man. It's very good, but it's sad. I can't think of any other show that made me cry as much as this show has. And I cry at a lot of shows, but you get me with a good commercial and I could cry over. But this show, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to wake up Mom Brain because I finished it at like 3 a.m. I was like, Jesus. But my sister had texted me about it because she figured I would be into it because she was into it. You like things about suicide? You should watch this. No, it's just good, and the cast is good, and the girl who plays the main character, Hannah, the girl that commits suicide. This was apparently her first real acting gig, and she does an awesome job with it. But yeah, if you haven't watched that, check it out. It doesn't pull any punches.
You like watching things that make you feel bad.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that makes you feel bad, and then for me, makes me feel good too, because you think about how you can help and do things better, and at least try to anyway. So that's how I take it. But yeah, it's as the sticker says, honestly, probably cries at wrestling. I have cried at wrestling before, without a doubt. Come on, Mom Brain, you did too when Ric Flair retired.
ripped
It was
my
a
heart
sad
out.
moment. It was a sad
You
I
know
remember
what?
Dew Michaels was watching it with us, and he was like, I can't watch this. You're going to make me cry.
Well, Undertaker's retirement, I mean,
Yeah.
if he weren't so sad and bad at like a shadow of his former self, I probably wouldn't have felt so bad about it. But I was like, God, like you should have hung it up like 2 years ago, and it made me feel bad.
Edge's retirement for me was really sad
Yeah,
because he
too soon.
was forced to go. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what made me cry?
When the Hardys came back.
Oh my God. Every time I look at it, so good.
Drew says wrestling is emotional. Yes, it's true. It is. You know, anything you're heavily invested in can work the tears out of you. Or like I said, a good commercial. There's a couple commercials that, well, I mean, we can't even watch ASPCA commercials. Forget that.
No, I
Gotta
mean,
change the channel, and they're like 7 hours long. Oh, and you always turn it back. Let's see if that commercial's over, and you flip back over, and it's like the worst part of it, where they're like eating a dog or something. No, they don't do that.
Or Sarah McLachlan's like eating a dog on camera.
this is what happens if you don't support the ASPCA.
Look at what I'm doing to them. All right, let's get to some happy Nintendo
like this one
news.
are being barbecued.
Oh, and first story is a dog with its precious eggs.
How? Right?
How? Deek. All right, let's talk about some Nintendo news. So Hal, who works on the Kirby franchise and
Smash Brothers. Daydream and Davy.
The
Kabuki Quantum Fighter.
They were actually directly involved with the creation of the Switch, which, as far as we know, is the first time they were involved with creation of hardware at Nintendo. So what they do? They worked on the web browser component. So I know there isn't a web browser on the Switch, but it does use a browser to get some things done. Plus, you have like when you can sign into a web portal and go online, it has that's when it's using a browser. The Mii library, game development environments, and game development tools. And the web browser components are used for the following parts: when you connect the Switch to a Nintendo account, when you connect to the eShop, when you're posting screenshots, and more. If you're wondering, 32 people at HAL worked on the Switch. Now, I said, that's really interesting news to hear, but I'm eager to see what their first Switch game is going to be. I want to see what they do. Roth says that one eBay commercial where the boy lost his teddy bear and grows up and finds that same bear he lost. I haven't seen that. He said The Simpsons did an episode with that same concept with Mr. Burns. It's true. Bobo. Bring back Sheriff Lobo. PC says good, which means they can put their extensive knowledge of the system to use when making the next Kirby game. Well, I'm sure there will be a Kirby game on the Switch. And recently, not that any Kirby games are bad, but recently the Kirby games I feel have been something extra special. So I'm quite excited to see what they do for the next Kirby game. And hopefully we'll get one on Switch. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's not like we haven't had systems where series didn't get mainline entries. Like the GameCube got Kirby's Air Ride, but it never got a main Kirby game. And the N64 didn't get a Metroid game. And the Wii U didn't get a Metroid game. Right? Yeah. So we have a rumor. It's about Fire Emblem. And it's about upcoming Amiibo. So there's been some talk lately, or in recent months, about a potential for a Corrin Amiibo, but not just any Corrin, a female Corrin Amiibo. So now we have some new details on that. People have been pouring through Fire Emblem Echoes data. Echoes is the game coming, the next Fire Emblem game coming to the 3DS. And apparently in that game, a female Corrin can be used as an illusory hero, and that is only tied to Amiibo. So how would that be in the game if there's not going to be a female Corrin Amiibo? We don't know. I mean, there's other ways, obviously. They could just put it in the game, but still, this is the same thing that is tied to all the other Amiibo. So it makes you wonder, maybe we really are going to get that Amiibo. There's another Amiibo-related story coming up later today. Hello, G-Man, sir. That lends a little bit more credence to this. Mortimer says, oh, could that be the rumored fourth amiibo from a while back? Also, hoping this somehow points to the Smash port for Switch coming sooner rather than later. Well, again, that Smash port is a rumor. We don't know if it's actually going to happen. We don't know if it will ever happen. We will potentially find out at E3. Maybe if they're doing a port of Smash Brothers, we will hear about it there. But yeah, just a rumor for now. So The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Lumbering.
Yes.
Your favorite game?
Yes.
You and my mom the other day were like gushing and gushing about it.
It's that good, man.
My mom was like, I don't see how anybody couldn't love this game. It's the perfect game. I was like, well, go on the internet and tell everybody that. Mr. Al Newman. No, was it Al Newman? Let me see. Yes, it was. He had an interview with Famitsu. And Famitsu says, making the next Zelda game might be more difficult if you choose to make it an open air game. So we know that as an open world game. What will evolve open air? How will you make future dungeons? What will the next Zelda be like? And Al Newman says, I think that in the future, open air games will be the standard for Zelda. So as you know, top down, with the original Legend of Zelda was the standard. I know they went to Zelda 2 and tried something different, but then we went back to top down with A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time and Oracle of Ages and not Ocarina of Time, I'm sorry. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons and Link's Awakening. And there were other top-down ones in there too, Minish Cap and stuff like that. But when Ocarina of Time came out, that became the new standard for Zelda games on consoles because we got Ocarina of Time. Then we got Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and so on and so on. No, man, you can't sit there. And now, people have been saying for a while now that it might be time to shake up the Zelda tradition. And now we have Zelda Breath of the Wild, which has been a huge hit with critics and gamers all around. So it seems like this is going to be the way Zelda games are made for the next however many years. I mean, what year did Ocarina of Time come out? 98? 90 something? Not 96. Definitely not. So maybe 98. And look at how long it took them to revamp the whole series. So we could be seeing this style of Zelda game for many, many years to come. And Breath of the Wild is one of the most amazing games to play, obviously, but it's not like they can't refine the experience and add in some unique things and twist some certain stuff around to make the next one even better. That's always their goal, make the next Zelda even better. Animus first comment, he says, now that their hardware is capable of pulling it off, I see no reason why it shouldn't be. I feel like this is a direction they've wanted to take for years now. Well, maybe that is maybe that is the case. Maybe hardware finally got to a point where they could have their open world dreams come true. And remember, Breath of the Wild was slated for Wii U first, obviously, and brought over to Switch. So if we get another Zelda game on Switch, maybe we could see Nintendo even push the Switch further. And obviously, they'll know how to get more out of the system the longer they work on it. And another Zelda game wouldn't hit the Switch until probably close to the end of its lifetime if it did happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this is definitely a big moment for the Zelda franchise. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what's young, cool, hip, and fresh?
Yeah.
Do you want me to guess?
No. Google has put out research showing what millennials are interested in, as well as...
Are we millennials?
As well as
Technically?
Generation Z, which is the new generation.
Oh, right.
So you want to know what they're into? Gen Z is the most aware generation in recent history. So it's no wonder most teen boys see video games as cool, a cool escape from reality.
Wait, aware of what?
Just aware, woke. They say woke.
Okay.
Video games were on top of the coolness scale for boys. They think video games are cool not only for their storylines, wide variety, and ability to escape to a virtual reality, but also for the ability to connect with friends. Most popular games at the top of the list. This is for Generation Z. The Legend of Zelda is the top pick, which surprises me. So I believe Google said Generation Z is somewhere around 12 to 17 or 13 to 17, somewhere in there, I believe. They also like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft, Counter-Strike, and Pokemon. So a whole new group in Pokemon as well. Now, here's the really interesting one. Brand coolness, according to millennials. So they say millennials here are 18 to 24. So if that's their ruling, we're way out of it. I guess we're just the lost generation. So you can see, like, they have a whole bunch of brands on this chart to show you. And the way they do it is they show you most aware to least aware. So most aware is up at the top of the chart and least aware is down at the bottom. Then all the way on the left of the chart is least cool, and all the way on the right is most cool. So according to these millennials, Nintendo, they are like 60%, Nintendo's 60% cool, but about 90% of them are aware of it. As far as Microsoft and Sony go, for Xbox is like 65% maybe. Okay. And Sony is like, let's say 62%. So that's the coolness factor. But awareness is pretty much the same for all of them. It's roughly like 88 to 92%. So the millennials know about it, but they, in order of coolness, least cool to most cool, is Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft. The thing is, this isn't just about video games. So here's what is equally cool to these kids, roughly in the same area. Lego, Wendy's,
Arizona Iced Tea,
Android phones,
okay,
the Chrome browser, Facebook. So Facebook really not doing it for kids. Starbucks, Best Buy, Toyota, Levi's, Victoria's Secret, Adidas, Samsung, and Vans, the shoes.
Oh, I'm wearing those right now.
Well, then, according to the millennials,
you're
pretty hip. Now, here, let's play this game. There are 3 things on this chart that millennials are very aware of and think are the coolest. What are they? These are like all the way in the almost upper right-hand corner.
Very aware of, and it's the coolest.
Yeah, now this isn't necessarily video games. This is just like...
Snapchat?
No, Snapchat is not there.
Is Instagram on there?
If it is, it's not. Yes, Instagram is on there. Very aware of Instagram, and it's pretty cool.
Did we mention Twitter yet?
No, you didn't. I'm sure Twitter's on here too, but that is a good guess.
Or that new thing, Mastodon. I heard that's pretty cool.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's a new, like...
It's not a band?
It is a band. But
what about like Spotify?
No, it's on
like
here.
A new social media.
I gotta get on it. GoNintendo needs a Mastodon account. Follow us on Mastodon.
It's supposed to be like Twitter.
But Periscope.
That's all I know.
Periscope?
No, Periscope is not on here.
What about like liquors or like beer, alcohol?
Come on. No. These are most
Nintendo!
cool.
Nintendo!
I already told you where Nintendo was.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Well,
Could you
the
give us a
podcast
hint?
stopped recording, but I'll just rip it from the YouTube version. A hint? Yeah, I can give you a hint. 2 of these things are owned by the same company. Well, let me rephrase that. One of these things is owned by the other company. So one of this is the company that kids find popular and cool, and that company owns another thing that's on this list that is popular and cool. There you go. Taco Bell is on here, but further back.
Okay.
I'm using 2 of them right now.
iPads?
No, I don't know where they are. They're on here somewhere. I want to give another hint without giving it away.
Yeah, I'm not doing good at this.
I'm using two of them for the podcast right now.
Right. Okay. Laptops, microphones.
These are brands. You use this every day, pretty much, I'm sure.
iPhone.
No, that's a good guess, but no. Son Goku says AOL dial-up is pretty cool. Brant has one of the answers, but Twitter is not the other one. And SD Stick Hero has the other. It is YouTube.
Oh, I should have known it was YouTube.
And Google. So Google owns YouTube. And then the third one is, I was talking about it at the beginning of the show. It's related to the first thing I talked about. No, first thing I talked about. It wasn't Nintendo related at all.
Netflix?
Netflix.
Okay.
Netflix is very cool. So let me most aware. So more kids are aware of YouTube than Google and Netflix, but they're very, very close. And YouTube is the coolest, just barely eking out Netflix, which just barely eked out Google in general. So Google, Netflix, YouTube, all right there, really popular.
You'd think, like, if you're, that aware of YouTube, you would also be aware that Google owns it.
No, they don't care.
Oh, okay.
They just care about what's on it. They don't care about who does it. I want to know why they think Google is cool, though. Like, aware, I get it, but what makes them say, like, yeah, Google's cool? Like, it's a search engine. I don't get why they think it's cool. I'm not saying it's not cool, but PC, I see what you're saying. You don't count.
Of, Bing?
I'm going to guess that's not on the list. Some guy says, more proof of the hope I have in Gen Z over Gen Y. They like Zelda and Pokemon. Yeah, I was honestly surprised to see that, but very happy to find them there. So, former Nintendo developer Motoi Okamoto talked to Gamasutra about his time spent at Nintendo. And he had some really interesting things to say about how the company was at least run partially before the Iwata era. And he talks about how the former president really had the company like sectors compete against one another. So it was like Nintendo had 3 hardware development teams plus EAD. And all of these departments were fighting against each other to show like how good they were at making games and creating hardware and stuff like that. And Mr. What's his name? Motoi? Okamoto. Mr. Okamoto says that, yes, says that EAD used to get crapped on a lot. He says if our game consoles didn't sell well, the other divisions would criticize EAD, saying that the failure was because they couldn't create a home run hit piece of software. And he says that's why Miyamoto took a lot of heat, because Miyamoto always felt the pressure to make a home run title, something that millions and millions of people would buy, which obviously he became really good at. So, but he says that whole way of thinking went out the window when Iwata took over. He didn't want the internal teams competing against one another and putting each other down. He wanted them to work together and share their information to help create things together. He talks about how Miyamoto was developing Pikmin to be the next Mario. And what he didn't mean like, I want this to be the next character that's huge. He meant like, I want it to be the next successful game that I do. So he put a whole bunch of work into it. And this was right at the time when the PlayStation was getting really big. So like PS1 into PS2. So Miyamoto was looking at what people were playing and how they were playing and what other games were like out there. And Miyamoto was considering 2 things. He was thinking, should his studio make games that felt more like movies and included pre-rendered movie scenes, because that was really big at the time. He eventually decided, no, that shouldn't be the case. And second, he looked at how to deal with the phenomenon of interactive art, because this is something that Miyamoto was really interested in, because he did like, Mario Paint and the Puppet Maker thing that never came out here and all that jazz. So he said there were a lot of things to consider when he was making Pikmin, and there was a lot of pressure on him. He was just trying to create the next big thing in games. Also, we learn about the crunch time that went into developing Super Mario 64 DS. So Miyamoto had all this other stuff going on during the day, and then at 11 p.m. at night, he would go to he would go to the development team. He'd leave the board meetings to go to the development team and say, "It's Mario time." And they would plan and work on a Mario game until 2 in the morning. And Miyamoto would get his stuff together to leave and go home. And he said to the rest of the employees, "You should return home soon too, for your health." For your health. Oh my God, I just realized they said that.
Your health.
But the developers would stay on for another like 2 or 3 hours to get stuff done. And Mr. Okamoto says it was the craziest crunch he's ever experienced in his development career. But if the god of games was working so much, how could we give up? Miyamoto had incredible stamina. Stamina! So the whole interview is filled with snippets like that. Like I said, really interesting stuff. And stuff we don't usually get to hear from Nintendo. And it takes a former Nintendo employee to tell us this stuff. So go check that out. Go read up on it if you haven't. The first comment is a meme. And Wolfstrassen has the next comment that says, Miyamoto working until 2 a.m.? All right. Didn't expect that. Well, yeah, I don't know if he's doing it anymore, but he was back in the day. Last week on the podcast, I was talking about potential ideas for talking points on the YouTube channel, and I ended up doing one of the videos, which was about controls, broken controls in games. It was broken controls versus...
Could you fix it for me? It's broken.
...versus get good.
My control is broken.
So I was talking about reviewers that approach games and say controls are broken, and most of the time I feel like they don't mean controls are broken. I feel like they mean controls are hard to manage, controls are too tough for them to understand, or they don't take the time to learn controls and think they're broken. Now that's not all the time, and that's obviously not all reviewers, but I go into it in much better detail in the video. So if you haven't watched that, I would appreciate it if you do, if you're so inclined, and let me know what you think. Best Buy made a little whoopsie on their website. They posted up 3 placeholder amiibo listings. All of them were tied to The Legend of Zelda. So they put the listing up on the site, the internet caught onto it, and then they pulled all the listings. But as you know, if it's on the internet, it lives forever. So all the listings were yanked. But going hand in hand with the data mining that's been going on with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it seems like these listings might be for Skyward Sword Link Amiibo, Fierce Deity Link Amiibo, and Twilight Princess Link Amiibo. So we'll find out whenever Nintendo feels like talking about it, but it's very clear that something's going on. They just haven't revealed it yet. Maybe at E3. First comment comes from Squeesh. Not Squish. Squeesh.
I understand.
I'd love some more Breath of the Wild amiibo. Wish list includes the 4 champions and Cass, the accordion playing Rito. I would like Cass. Cass would be a cool amiibo, wouldn't he?
Yes.
Who else from Breath of the Wild would I like as an... Oh, I know. What's his name? Bolson? The guy that sells you the house builder?
Oh, I don't know his name.
But you know who I'm talking about. That's the amiibo I want.
He's a little flamboyant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The pink headband and the cheetah print. Yeah, he's amazing.
I remember from far away being like, who's that chick?
Square Enix is considering porting games to the Switch. Pretty much they're working on the Switch. We know they have things coming to the Switch. They have stuff out now, and more is coming, but now they're looking into what else they can do for the system. This comes from Square Enix president. He says, we're even thinking about what feasible existing game titles we want to successively port onto the Switch. He doesn't say if that's games that already exist and are on retail shelves and will get a Switch port, or games that are currently in development at Square Enix that will also get a Switch port. Going into more detail, Square Enix says having more platforms is a good thing, and their president hopes that the Switch succeeds for this reason. And the earlier mentioned ports goes along with brand new titles Square Enix is planning. So it's not going to be just ports from Square Enix. It's going to be brand new stuff as well. Just like the new title, Project Octopath Traveler, which we haven't seen since the initial reveal. Square Enix says they're keeping an eye on PC, Windows 10 game mode, and Google AR's Tango. But they say the company's attention right now is on Switch. So they're focusing on making some Switch games right now, baby. And that's great news. First comment comes from Mortimer. And he says, the Seiken Densetsu collection is really all I care about from Square Enix. So I'll keep praying to the Mana Goddess. Yeah, we don't know if that's going to get localized. I I hope it does, my friend. But yeah, hopefully, whatever Square Enix makes, we get to see stateside officially. I know you can grab it region free through the eShop, but we want localized English versions. North America, oh my God. Yeah, that's a thing now. Now I don't have any idea how long the show is. The thing that usually tells me is no longer here. God damn it. North America this week's uploads from Nintendo to the Wii U, the 3DS, and the Switch. If you missed out on Lego City Undercover on the Wii U, you can now play it on the Switch. Remember, it has 2-player split-screen co-op in this version, and the download information that was on the box was incorrect. There's not 13 gigs worth of data to download. There is 400 and something megs worth, which is a very, very big difference. So buy the Switch version without worry of it eating up your Switch internal memory, or without worrying about needing to pick up a micro SD card. Also available is Graceful Explosion Machine. Graceful, Faceful Explosino Machine. That's what it was. Which I did a video review for. I really like that game a lot. Very fun, very addictive, easy to understand, but hard to master. That's available on the Switch. If you haven't checked out the video review and you're on the fence about it, you should check it out. Just Dance 2017 has a demo, so if for some reason you don't know what Just Dance is about by this time, you can get a free demo and experience it. On the Wii U Virtual Console is World Sports Competition. It's a TurboGrafx 16 sports game that includes 6 categories of events: shooting, archery, rowing, swimming, and track and field. Superstar Soldier, the classic vertically scrolling shooter for the TurboGrafx 16, is also available on the Wii U Virtual Console. Vroom in the Night Sky is available on the Switch. Is this Europe or is this North America? What did I say? This is North America. Vroom in the Night Sky. The Neo Geo game Alpha Mission 2 is on the Switch. 3DS got Dragon Sinker, which is a traditional RPG, and Pinball Breakout on the 3DS. And Wii U got Animal Gods, to which the developer of Animal Gods said he's interested in a Switch version. So that might happen at some point. So if you don't want to wait, you can get it now on Wii U. And if you don't mind waiting, you could play it on Switch. Gambler has the first comment, and he says, more TurboGrafx 16 games for the Wii U, like drunk horses stumbling across the finish line a week after everyone went home. Can't wait for the Switch versions to drop in 2024. Gambler is angry. Game's coming to the Wii U, and he's angry about it. I did that.
It's not coming soon enough.
Europe, this week's digital uploads from Nintendo. What did Europe get? They also got Lego City Undercover on the Switch, as well as Alpha Mission 2 on the Switch. They got Has Been Heroes, which was delayed in Europe, but now is available. Graceful Explosion Machine is there too, as is the Just Dance 2017, a free demo. On the 3DS, they got a game we got a while back. Yokai Watch 2, Bony Spirits, and Fleshy Souls. You pick which one you want. Which one would you go for, Mom Brain?
Fleshy Soul.
You think so? Yeah.
I don't even know what the difference is.
They each have different Pokemon in them. They each have different yokai in them. Whoops. Slip of the tongue. Dragon Sinker is available. Pick-a-Pix Color has a free demo. Fairune 2 has a free demo. Right now there's a Fire Emblem sale going on a whole bunch of Fire Emblem stuff. And then there's regular sales on top of that. The 3DS theme shop in Europe has been updated with the Yokai Watch Hover Nyan theme. Hover Nyan.
Yeah.
Hover Cat. It's also got Yokai Watch QB and Venict theme. There's Fire Emblem themes that are on sale. Wii U got World Sports Competition. And it also got YASG. It's an old school arcade shooter. And Wii U got the Pick-a-Pix Color demo as well. Then Fire Emblem stuff on sale there too. So big week for Europe. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of sales too. Let's see if Gambler is equally angry about Europe. You okay over there?
Yeah.
Thorn Rock says, I noticed Samurai Showdown 4 is no longer in the released soon category. I hope it's not a sign of the bad things to come. I was really, really looking forward to it. Well, it'll be there eventually, my friend. Hopefully not 2024 like Gamboy said. In the year 2024. So Square Enix obviously has some Switch support coming, but here's something a little special. This is Takashi Tokita. He works at Square Enix. You might know him as one of the developers on Chrono Trigger, one of your favorites, Kirby. He, on Twitter, of the Switch with a little message, and the message says, "Top secret mission begins." So he's very clearly teasing something for the Switch, but what is it? Is it going to be another Chrono Trigger? Is it something brand new altogether?
Is it going to be another Chrono Cross?
He worked on Parasite Eve. Could it be a new Parasite Eve? Yes.
Oh, wow, I forgot all about Parasite Eve.
Well, apparently my Aunt Betsy and Uncle Ian are on they're coming by here in 45 minutes. They're in Allentown on their way to Massachusetts.
Okay, so tell them we're busy.
Well, I'm not going to.
Okay, then don't tell them. Wobble Bobble says, hell yeah, I'm down. You're staring at me. What do you want me to do? Tell them we're busy. It's not like that's a lie. We are busy. Dylan Cuthbert worked on the original Star Fox and some other Star Fox games as well. And he went on Reddit to do a Reddit AMA where he talked about all kinds of things Star Fox. And again, he had interesting information that we've never had before. We've never heard anywhere from Nintendo or anyone at Nintendo. I'm going to give you the most interesting tidbits. So, Star Fox on the Super Nintendo used the Super FX chip, and Argonaut was involved in the development of that game. Now, we've seen Star Fox 64 released on the Virtual Console, but we've never seen the original Super Nintendo game. And it's because of this licensing tie-up and the Super FX chip and all that stuff. That's why it hasn't happened. So Dylan Cuthbert had an idea to remedy that. He said, why don't we do a remake of Star Fox for the 3DS, but we completely remake it and we make it look like the old one, but it doesn't use the Super FX chip because obviously we don't need that anymore. And they said, plus we can add in 3D visuals because it's on the 3DS. So he's like, this is a great idea. So he went to Nintendo. He said, we made an old school remake demo, showed it to him, and Nintendo was like, nah. And he's like,
they were just nah.
Oh, okay. He says, we showed it to them, but Nintendo weren't interested. That's all he said. Why?
I thought you were gonna tell me that the other company threatened to sue them or something.
No, just Nintendo said they weren't interested. Maybe that's why Nintendo said they weren't interested, because they would worry that if that project came out, the other company or the other licensees involved would be like.
When did you say this happened?
He didn't say when it happened, but it happened at least when the 3DS came out, because that's what the project was demoed on.
It might just have been because Star Fox isn't a big seller for them.
I don't know, because they did a remake of Star Fox 64 on the 3DS.
Yeah.
So why that one? I don't get it. I don't get it. He also says that Star Fox 2, the canceled Super Nintendo game, there was an older version of it that emphasized two-player co-op, but that was eventually dropped due to the performance that the game, or the drop in performance that the game suffers from. So they concentrated on one player, and then it just never came out. Also, did you know this? Before Super Mario 64 came out, and Pilot Wings came out on the 64, there were prototypes for Pilot Wings and Super Mario on the Super Nintendo using the Super FX chip. So they were doing 3D game tests that turned out to be Mario 64 and Pilot Wings 64 on the Super Nintendo. He said they were doing it, they were using the chip, and they were doing some experimentation to see what could be done. And then when they saw that, and they saw how the Super Nintendo was going and the plans for the 64, they quickly reworked the prototype they had made for the Super Nintendo into something for the 64. which is really crazy. So maybe somewhere out there are prototypes for those games that we can actually see what Super Mario 64 looked like before the 64 was even around. That's crazy. One day it'll show up. Star Fox 2 leaked on the internet. That's right. Mr. Cuthbert talks about working for Nintendo versus working for Sony because he's worked for both of them. He says Nintendo is a very rigid working environment where you need to be creative to break free of those constraints. Sony is a little too free, and the constraints are ill-defined, or even worse, the constraints are monetary. There are benefits to both systems. So, sounds like he had a little more fun at Nintendo. I talked about working alongside Nintendo developers because he worked with all the big names, including Miyamoto and Mr. Sakamoto as well. So he's, what did I say? Rubbed elbows with the upper echelon of Nintendo. He's asked what Nintendo games he would like to work on if he could take a Nintendo franchise and that he hasn't already worked on and work like on a new entry. And he says Pilot Wings and F-Zero. He would love to work on those. He has interest in developing games for the Switch. He says he doesn't have anything in development yet, but he would love to, and he has quite a few original ideas that he wants to try out. And Dylan obviously has a rich history with Nintendo, so I'd be very surprised if something didn't happen at some point. He talks about being sad that Star Fox 2 never saw release because he said he spent 2 years making that game, but he understands why Nintendo didn't put it out on the Super Nintendo because things were going to the 64. He's asked if he would like to work on Star Fox again, and he said who wouldn't, because he didn't work on Zero. He did play Zero, but he says he would love to work on one himself. And he says Miyamoto always describes Star Fox as an experimental title, a title that's meant to try out new ideas for gaming. So, we don't need to talk about that. Talks about how Miyamoto used to smoke a lot.
Smoke what?
His cigarettes, regular cigarettes. He said
he's not a vapor.
He said he has vivid memories of Miyamoto playing Star Fox and working on the controls, and it was Miyamoto with the controller for the Super Nintendo standing there with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, just like playing the game and tweaking things. And he said after Star Fox development was over, Miyamoto decided it was time to stop smoking because I guess he smoked a lot during that game's development, and he hasn't smoked since. And he also talked about how the Star Fox characters, the original ones, were based on Nintendo developers. He says Slippy was based on Mr. Yamada, Falco was based on Mr. Watanabe, and Fox was based on himself as well as Miyamoto. So that's pretty interesting. No wonder he has such fond memories and such passion for Star Fox. It's because basically he's in the game. He was the inspiration for the main character. I would like to see him get back into Star. I'd like to see him do stuff on Nintendo again. And like I said, I'm sure he will. It's just he doesn't have anything to show just yet, or maybe he's lying, and we'll see something at Star. We'll see something at Star Fox. We'll see something at E3.
When did he work for Sony?
When he had like a special deal for the Pixel Junk games.
Oh, okay.
They like, I want to say they partially funded development. Sorry, the iPad is freezing.
Boy, it's just a rough tech day, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? The podcast stops recording. The Pokemon Go. Oh, now the page crashed. Pokemon Go. What's her name? Niantic put out a special press release, or they put out a thing on their blog saying that back in the day, they didn't think Pokemon Go was going to be as big a hit as it was, blah, blah, blah. But now they've won all these awards and everything. And they are saying that Pokemon Go still has 65 million active players. And right now they're working on more cooperative social gameplay experiences. What are those gameplay experiences? They didn't say. But stuff is coming. So 65 million people are still playing that game, which is pretty damn nuts. A lot of games, or a lot of companies were killed for that kind of player base for their games. I don't know if it takes a certain game to get to that point. But Minecraft and Jesus, what else is anywhere near as big? Mario Kart had sold that many copies, but not, that many people playing at one time. So the Pokemon franchise is doing quite well. You gonna talk about this? I'll mention it really quickly. There's an interview with some people at Nintendo about the development of the Switch, and they got to how they came up with the name of the system, design goals for the system. They talk about why it doesn't have 2 screens. They talk about the legacy that the Wii U left behind. Talk about why they're doing paid online. Well, it's one of those things that's best read when you have some time, but we don't have time. And then finally, we've heard rumblings of Overwatch potentially coming to the Switch. At least it's not being shot down. The developers are considering it. And Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan got into a little more discussion about it. He says, I think the problem is we've really targeted our minimum specs in a way that we would have to revisit performance and how to get on that platform. And also, it's already challenging right now maintaining 3 platforms and patching simultaneously, which is something we've been finally able to achieve. Our first couple of patches would come out on PC first, and blah, blah, blah. He says, I always like to tell people that we're very open-minded about what platforms we could be on. Just because we're not a platform right now, it doesn't mean we won't reconsider in the future. So we stay aware of all those things. It doesn't sound like it's going to be there. I would love to be wrong, but it doesn't sound like it's going to happen. First comment comes from Jingle Boy, and he says, love it. Oh, wait, what is? Oh, no, this is wrong. Sorry. First comment comes from the Dreaming Hawk, and he says, wouldn't it always have to be online as well? If so, then it seems like a bad idea for a portable system. Yeah, well, you wouldn't really be able to play it on the go. You'd have to connect to a hotspot or something like that. But you know, stranger things have happened. You never know. We'll see. We'll see if we get a surprise somewhere down the road. But personally, while I'm fine with all kinds of games coming to Switch, I would like to see more original stuff than ports. Whew. That's it. That's your top stories. Kirby.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Well, I was here last night, and you and I and R-Type played Puyo Puyo Tetris.
That's right.
I believe that's the title.
Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Tetris. So that was hard for me anyway. I don't think I've ever played. Well, I've never played Puyo Puyo, and I don't think I've ever played Tetris competitively either.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought, you know, I've played it a ton. I just didn't realize that. It seems like your brother hadn't done it either.
Yeah, I played the original Tetris on Game Boy, and I played Tetris DS, and that was about it.
Yeah,
and that was all single
yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely changed a little bit since those days. But did you have fun?
Yeah, yeah, for the most part. Yeah, it might take me a little longer to get the hang of it. So there was that. Other than that, I've just been playing Horizon Zero Dawn this week.
Yeah, I've been.
Yeah, I don't know. I pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about last week. I'm still. I don't even know how long I've been playing it for, but yeah, I can't really comment on the story. You know what I've seen of the story so far. I mean, I'm assuming there's going to be you know, some twists and maybe some backstabbing at some point in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about the story. I just, you know, on a very basic level, I know what it's about. I don't know any details. I have a few games that I'm trying to decide which one to start next, basically. There's a lot of stuff out right now.
Yeah, I would like to reiterate just how awesome looking this game is. Like, I just this past week, I got to this huge, like, city, like, you know, it's like the biggest settlement that I've seen so far in the game. I think the name of the city is Meridian, and just like, you know, I'm just like walking through it, and it dawned on me, like, you know, like I could take a screenshot of this, and it would look almost like like those painted like that like painted cover art for like young adult fantasy novels from like the late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, the really awesome stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it reminded me of.
Now I want to play it even more.
And yeah, I guess in some ways the story and the setting is kind of similar to that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean I've also heard people drawing comparisons to like Hunger Games and Game of Thrones and some stuff like that. Oh my God, this fly!
I know the one fly down here.
Do you have a fly swatter?
Not down here, upstairs. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Mom, Brain.
Nope, didn't play anything. Haven't had time.
Oh, okay. What are you so grouchy about?
I'm not. Just gotta get a move on. We got
What?
people gonna be banging down our door in half an hour.
Podcast has to go on.
I know.
I played.
I'm just gonna have to suck it up.
I've been playing Neo Turf Masters on the Switch. I've been
I
playing.
did it.
I've been playing Blaster Master Zero as well. Nothing new. Yeah, nothing that I haven't already talked about in great length. I've been playing more Rain World, and Graceful Explosion Machine. So there's a lot of stuff to play. But yeah, it's the same stuff I was playing last week. So I'll be able to talk about some new stuff this coming week. I just can't talk about it yet. But yeah, there's so many good games out right now. There's just so much stuff and certainly not enough time to play it. Yeah, I guess that's it. All right, Mom Brain, you want to do music then?
Happily.
Let's do some music.
It's been a while since
know.
we've had music.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think that's a good spot, right? Our first song comes to us from Skin Bag.
It's a great name.
It's a pretty good name.
Man, I got no idea.
Is this like an art style game?
Mm-mm.
I have a feeling I've played it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You played
sounds
this
like
game.
something you would have played.
Can you tell me what system?
Wii U?
Yeah. Is it Chronicles of Teddy?
No. But I don't think you played it on Wii U.
That's my only guess. Then I don't know.
Give up?
Yeah.
Minecraft.
That's Minecraft?
Yep.
Wait, there was music in that game?
Yeah, there's great music. I just didn't
Next
know
song
that.
comes from Piplup Water.
Is this Castlevania?
Yeah.
But I need to know which one. Is this Order of Equation?
No.
Oh, is it Portrait of Rome?
Yes. Well played. Next song comes from Wired.
Still more heroes?
Yep. Well, 2.
Desperate Struggle.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Next song comes from Toad 64.
So, is it Super Nintendo?
Yep.
Harvest Moon?
No.
Almost sounds
Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore. It's got like an Earthbound feel, but it's not
Nope.
Earthbound. Breath of Fire. Did I say that?
Lagoon?
Lufia.
Nope.
All right. Do you have any more generic RPG guesses?
It's not accurate.
Nope.
I don't know.
Sim City.
Oh, if Lube was here or JTS, they would have got it.
Next
bastards.
song comes to us from Andy the Zombie.
All right, so it's Duke Nukem.
Yep.
What, Duke Nukem 64?
It's on the 64, but it's actually Duke Nukem 3D. But we'll count it. Next song comes from Rat Mastered. Put out by Atlas.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this a portable?
GBA.
Okay. Atlas GBA, Jesus Christ.
GBA.
Oh boy, that's good satire. I don't know enough Atlas GBA stuff to guess it.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it before.
Is it a really weird title?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. Something like Tyson in it.
Nope.
All right, we don't know.
Tactics Ogre, The Knight of Lotus.
All right, so I've heard of the franchise. I just
I have a
never
lotus in my pants.
played that.
The next song we have comes from Kevin PDZ.
It's one of those weeks, man. I don't even know what system.
Cube and Wait.
Cube and Wave. That should be it. A cube port to Wave, but I don't know what. Oh man, this is a bad week. I don't know. You got a guess? Resident Evil.
No.
That's on Cube and Wave.
Is it another Resident Evil?
Nope.
We give up.
Splinter Cell. Double Agents.
Oh no, I should have got that.
Next song comes to us from Fred McManor.
What system is this? Zensis Ocean.
Yes! Yes, it is!
Who said that?
Fred McManor.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, it really
Good
is
for
very
you,
relaxing.
Fred.
The next song comes from Glitter Bubble 3.
Wow, whatever it is, I don't like it.
It's kind of annoying. Why do they keep playing their own moves?
Yeah, right. What system?
GBA.
It's like some bad license game or something.
Is it a license game?
Well, yeah, I guess it is.
Oh man, it's so annoying. Annoying's the right word. I don't know. Do you know?
Nope.
We don't know.
Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Oh,
Is it really?
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
I don't.
Our last song comes from Mikey3319.
I don't remember that. Out of this world.
Yeah. So that's, you got 50% correct.
Oh, let's not talk about it, okay?
Whatever.
So if you heard something you liked or didn't
You
hear
heard?
something you wanted to hear today, and you'd like to send us some music, you can send it to gnpodcastmusic@gmail.com.
Where?
gnpodcastmusic@gmail.com.
Thanks, Mom Rain.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, well, there's not going to be an after show today because the show doesn't need to export because it's just off of YouTube. So thanks for watching and
Great.
thanks for watching and thanks for, well, it's this microphone. This is the better microphone anyway. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I guess we will see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.